Inside one of these test tubes could be a new drug, a new antibiotic.
A really blockbuster, the thing that we need.
Final stretch, we finally made it to the maternity section of this hospital.
You have a passion for these things.
They're my friends.
They've been remarkably well behaved.
This is their sort of holiday home.
One of the greatest challenges facing the world today is the increasing rise of bacteria resistant to antibiotics, meaning that even the most common infections could become impossible to treat, and taking us into what is being known as a post-antibiotic era. I'm Dr. Joff Lacey, and I'm here in Norway to join the first part of a worldwide expedition on the hunt for new antibiotics. The Pharmacy Project is a collaboration between scientists from across the world. The goal is to collect marine organisms from some of the hottest, deepest and coldest places on the planet, which have never been searched before. The hope is to create vital new drugs and antibiotics from them, and the project starts here, in the fjords of Norway. Hans, can you explain to me, why is there a need to find new antibiotics?
It's been in use since the war, 70 years ago, and already a lot of people are immune to penicillin or the different antibiotics we have. More and more people die at hospitals because of infections.
Antibiotics work by killing or preventing growth of bacteria by breaking down the cell walls or interfering with protein synthesis. But over time, bacteria can build a natural resistance. This is drastically accelerated when they are misused, such as when we don't finish our prescription. The surviving bacteria will then reproduce with inbuilt resistance to that antibiotic.
Hans's hope is that the incredible marine life here will provide solutions to this problem.
Marine organisms, they have means of repairing wounds, like getting rid of infections.
So if we can isolate the natural antibiotics that they produce, we can maybe produce a new antibiotic for human use.
Yeah, it's a long process and it takes many years, but it must be done.
The team on board the Helmer Hansen will be trawling organisms from the bottom of the sea, as well as sending out dive teams to hand-pick marine life from the sea floor. 80 miles north of the Arctic Circle, marine life that can survive under these conditions will hopefully have the right properties to become the basis of new antibiotics. Why do you think this environment seems to be the key to find these new molecules?
Northern environments have a highly shifting environment and it can be extreme. These northern organisms and also these Arctic organisms, extremophiles, as we call them, can have, through evolution, adapted special mechanisms that organisms further south don't have. You have large amounts of organisms, high diversity. They must compete for space. So they can compete, for example, by producing deterrents, chemicals to frighten off other species.
So is that their samples? So can we take these back to the boat and have a look at them? Closer look? At this time of year, this part of Norway doesn't get dark, meaning that for 3 weeks the team will be working for 24 hours a day.
I'm ready.
Espen, that's my name. Once the organisms are collected, the team in the onboard lab arrange them into species ready to be sent ashore.
See what we got. Wow. So there's some interesting stuff. To start with, we have some hydroids. It's kind of a multi-dimensional space which harbors lots of life.
Are you going to need to separate everything out?
Yeah, it's really tedious work.
That's going to say it.
And here we also have some nudibranchs. If you touch this with your bare hands, you can actually get blisters from it.
Really?
Yeah.
So these guys must produce a lot of interesting chemicals as well then?
Maybe. So we just put everything on the table. You take the poisonous
I'll
ones.
take the poisonous one. Thank you. You can tell I'm the new guy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Some nice sea stars. So now you have the time-consuming work here with separating them, and I will take the Petri dishes in to do the fine work in the dry lab.
Wow, with the microscope?
Yeah.
So in there somewhere could be an organism that's producing the next antibiotic. Maybe this Petri dish has it.
Let's hope so.
The species are taken to the state-of-the-art lab at the University of Tromsø. Hello, hi Chrissy, hi, I'm Joff, hi, thank you.
As you can see, this is a sea star. So Valdez, what he's doing now is kind of cutting up.
So simply just cutting up the starfish?
Yes.
Okay.
Then you want to freeze-dry the sample. So this is what it ends, the sea star ends up
So this is the starfish ground up into a powder?
Yes.
Lovely,
Yeah.
okay. Microorganisms such as plankton, which are also collected on the boat, need to be cultivated in the lab to create enough quantities to analyse. So what do we have here?
This is the step where we have put in alcohol, ethanol, or another chemical and extracted, as I said, the good stuff, the molecules, so that we end up with a pure raw extract. So the sea star is now in a tube.
Inside one of these test tubes could be a new drug, a new antibiotic.
A really blockbuster, the thing that we need.
So Trond, what are we going to do next with these samples?
No, we're going to, what we say, screen them. That we want to find out what kind of bioactivities we have in these samples. But this is a robot which actually does all the screening. Now you see bacteria in one of them solution and some of the extract in the other one. So now it's sort of mixing them.
And so if you find that one of those samples has killed the bacteria on your Petri dish, what's the next stage? What do you do?
Well, the next thing is that to find out which of the molecules are actually the active one against the bacteria.
Finding the active molecule is a painstaking process, and even when one is found, the scientists have to make sure it isn't an existing antibiotic. Trond, for you, what is the dream? What do you hope to come out of this whole process?
Well, that we can come up with some new molecules active against bacteria. But more and more bacteria are developed resistance ability, and that's a big challenge for the whole world.
For the world, yeah.
A daily dose of an antiretroviral drug could help reduce the risk of HIV infection among injecting drug users by about half, according to a study announced by the US Center for Disease Control and Prevention and the Thai government. Around 2,000 injecting drug users from Bangkok, Thailand, were given either a placebo or the drug tenofovir in the study, which was carried out between 2005 and 2012. Results show those who took the drug were 49% less likely to become infected with HIV than those on the dummy pill.
In a country of 240 million people where medical systems are overstretched and distances to travel are long, access to ultrasound during pregnancy is a luxury rather than a norm. I'm Nidhi Dutt in Indonesia, where the government's trying to change this by making high-tech medical equipment mobile for midwives. Meet one of Indonesia's key assets for prenatal health, the midwives. What are the worst-case scenarios?
Kasus yang paling berat diantaranya perdarahan setelah persalinan, perdarahan sebelum persalinan, Lalu mendeteksi letak janin.
Nah itu letak sungsang susah kan? Karena itu akhirnya meninggal sampai akhirnya dibawa-bawa juga ke rumah sakit tapi sudah tidak tertolong.
And what does that feel like when you're the midwife in this situation?
Khawatir kita nggak bisa menolong ibunya ya, terutama kan itu 2 nyawa yang kita tolong, bayi dan ibunya.
But help is on the way.
The V-scan, it's a visualization tool essentially, but let me give you guys a quick demonstration. The device is very small, as you can see, very light, very easy to use. You just put the probe on the mother. You have different presets, so for looking at the obstetrics, looking at the mother and the fetus.
Number of doctors in the remote area become less and less. So what we can afford to place is only midwife. Of course, this technology very simple. We can teach to the midwife so that we can empower the midwife.
Midwives operate in local clinics where mothers-to-be receive regular checkups. Ibu Lucina is one of the first midwives to be trained on the V-scan. After a morning at the clinic, it's time for some home visits.
Ada yang lahiran, terus ke puskesmas, ke posyandu, kunjungan rumah hari ini, kemana-mana. Pokoknya harus fisik, mental.
We're just getting ready to actually go into a expecting mom's house. It's a routine house call, but basically our midwife, Lucina, goes from house to house, checking in. If they can't come to the maternity hut or the clinic, she comes to them. So let's have a look at what's going on. Siang, Mbak. Terima kasih, Pak.
Terus suka periksa juga ke dokter. Cuman untuk sekarang berapa? Udah ada 2 bulan.
Udah pernah lihat? So iya, gerak-gerak kuku itu tangan nanti ketubannya.
Pokoknya lega aja udah ngeliat kondisinya bagus, sehat.
Terima kasih.
Sama-sama.
Hope you feel better and baby's safe and fine.
Sama-sama, saya juga terima kasih.
Neng nunggu ya. Plasenta amion normal.
Terima kasih.
Makanan banyak ya.
So our mom, Ratna, is 37 years old. She's 9 months pregnant, and they're just concerned about the positioning of the baby. So Ibu Lucina is just going to have a look at what's going on and if they need to refer her for any further help at the local hospital.
Saya tidur aja nggak apa-apa.
So the main issue is the positioning. What can you see?
Kalau yang kemarin yang kita dapat di yang sore kemarin itu kan kepala pada di bawah. Ini malposition. Kalau yang betul kepala di sini. Jadi ini posisinya melintang gitu. Mustahil. Pasti kalau itu ya bayinya bisa nggak tahan. Ya, keluar-keluar kalau udah nggak ini.
Iya. Ibu Ratna, how are you feeling about the diagnosis?
Takut gitu.
For pregnant women in rural Indonesia, living in one of the country's 6,000 inhabited islands, a trip to the hospital can be a huge ordeal. This means many women miss out on crucial medical checkups, which can pick up on pregnancy complications early on. And getting to hospital is only half the journey. Universal healthcare in Indonesia, which is set to be rolled out next year. And the lines and queues in places like this, which is a local district hospital, are expected to swell, and it's already so busy. You can imagine the kinds of traffic that they're going to see once everyone is allowed to have healthcare in this country. In the final stretch, we finally made it to the maternity section of this hospital.
dengan kondisi melintang itu jelas kalau dia tidak berubah dia akan memerlukan tindakan operasi. Waktu melahirkan harus dilakukan seksio sesar.
So I guess portable technology that you're getting to use in the rural areas is bringing you important cases like this, ones that you might not have seen before.
Ya memang dengan adanya program ini sangat membantu ya, terutama untuk masyarakat di daerah terpencil. Jadi pada Ibu Ratna ini memang hamil yang resiko tinggi dan memang sudah sewajarnya ditangani di rumah sakit, nggak bisa lagi di puskesmas atau di bidan.
Okay, Bu. Makasih. How are you feeling with everything? It's okay? Good luck. I hope everything's okay. Makasih. Thank you. Makasih. The health challenges for a vast and populous country such as Indonesia are immense. Infant mortality is still around 5 times higher than in Europe. But innovations such as the V-scan are helping to change this. In fact, the next generation of these devices could allow midwives to email the scans to experts for diagnosis, bringing specialist help to even more women. Sadly, this story doesn't have a happy ending. Ibu Ratna's baby died 2 days after birth from breathing complications. But perhaps some comfort can be found in the thought that without early diagnosis, the lives of both mother and baby would have been in danger.
Mothers returning to work within weeks of giving birth and lax advertising rules for baby foods and formula milk could be contributing to low levels of breastfeeding in Mexico. According to Mexico's National Institute of Public Health, only 1 in 7 mothers in Mexico breastfeed exclusively for the first 6 months, which is the standard recommended by the World Health Organization.
Silks are some of nature's most remarkable materials. They can be tough, resilient, and biocompatible with the human body. I'm Amandeep Bangu, and I'm in Oxford, England, to find out how the scientists here are harnessing silk technology for revolutionary medical purposes. Professor Fritz Vollrath is one of the world's foremost experts on spiders and the unique properties of silk. In the roofs above the University of Oxford is the key to his research, a greenhouse full of golden orb web spiders. Hello.
Hello, Amandeep.
Hi, I'm Amandeep. Hi, Fritz. Hello.
Good to meet you. These are the females. I think this is probably more like a male. They're much smaller.
That tiny male to that female over there.
Yes, they do get eaten from time to time. This little creature can make a fiber that weight for weight is tougher than Kevlar, out of her own body. Water is the only solvent, ambient temperature and ambient pressure. The strength is one thing, but the ability to absorb energy is another, meaning it's a combination of strength and stretchiness. The web can take up the kinetic energy of the fly. I mean, it's like a bullet hitting it. You can imagine the fly comes with a certain energy and has to be buffered out, not bounced back like a trampoline. So the energy has to be taken up by the web. That's the important thing.
Fritz and his team are studying the molecular properties of silk with the aim of unlocking its potential as a biomedical material that's not only compatible with the human body, but that also allows cellular regeneration to occur on its surface.
We're beginning to understand how it is made. And once you understand it, of course, then you can begin to copy it. Its molecular structure has little motifs in it. These motifs are very attractive for human cells. And we don't really understand why the silk has it.
Yes.
Or why the body has it, but it works. The cells like it so much that they will grow on it and hopefully multiply on it.
You have a passion for these things.
They're my friends.
They've been remarkably well behaved.
This is their sort of holiday home. You know, when they come down into the lab, that's when they have to work. Watch the liquid nitrogen.
And this is where the science happens.
That's right, yes. And there she is.
Wow, I see we have one of your friends here waiting for us.
Already set up.
and carefully pinned in place. That looks painful.
It is hopefully not. If she was harmed, she may not collaborate. Now I will collect a little bit of silk.
This is where you extract the silk from her abdomen. It's just about visible to the human eye. The spiders are entirely unharmed during this process and afterwards are released back to their home in the greenhouse.
This size of spider would give us maybe about 300-400 meters. So again, one silking, until I reel too fast and then smoke comes out of her bottom and the thread becomes very weak.
I see.
And then she'll run out.
And now that you've actually literally unravelled the science behind the spider silk here, what are the potential medical uses that you foresee?
For nerve repair, for tendon repair. Now we're talking cartilage repair, knee repair, for example, which has both meniscal cartilage. And it's necessary, I think. We need to repair our bodies rather than replace.
Is this a process that you can replicate on a larger scale?
Not easily, not with spiders, but you could, of course, do it with silkworms.
While research into nerve repair, wound healing and spinal cord injury is ongoing, one of Fritz's partner companies is already planning to trial a silk-based product that will be used for cartilage repair. Am I allowed to make a complaint at this stage that you don't have one in a childlike size?
We won't get you to make the devices, so you can roll the sleeves up and that'll be fine.
The silk used here is from the cocoons of silkworms, which is adapted using proprietary technology based on the discoveries made at Fritz's lab.
Silkworm silk is not nearly as strong as spider silk. And what we've done, what Fritz has developed at his lab, is to work out ways in which to reprocess this silk so that we can make it stronger, tougher, more resilient, like spider silk, more similar to spider silk. So, here we go. What we've done here is we've extracted a single silk protein from the fibre, the one that gives the silk its great structural properties, its great resilience and strength. But we process this in a way that spiders process their silks. The single thread that forms this entire cocoon is lots and lots and lots of little figures of 8, all stitched together, glued together to form this complete structure. Now, the problem with that figure of 8 structure is every time it stops to glue it down, it creates a weak point in the fibre. So approximately every centimetre of silk thread that a silkworm produces, there's a big weak spot in the fibre. And that means if you try and break it, it breaks at one of those weak points. What a spider does is it draws the thread out continuously from its body when it's making its web. And that means that the molecules are all very closely aligned in that single thread, and that high degree of molecular alignment gives that great strength and resilience that we see. So what we've done is we take this solution and we process it like the spider does to encourage an exceptionally high degree of molecular alignment in our medical devices. And that means there's no weak points.
Currently, serious knee damage often requires replacement of the entire knee joint. But the aim here is to just replace the injured tissue with a product that also allows long-term regenerative repair.
What this is it's an anatomical copy of a piece of cartilage which you find in the knee called the meniscus. The menisci are often damaged, and when they're damaged, what the surgeon usually needs to do is to take some of that tissue out. And what we've designed is a product to go in and replace that tissue. One of the really nice features about this, as it's a natural protein, the cells from the surrounding meniscus can grow into the device, lock it in place, and supplement the device's properties to make it very similar to what the original tissue was like before the injury occurred. Cartilage in the body, you couldn't think of something which would be more different than spider silk out there catching flies, and yet the properties of the two are incredibly similar.
While clinical trials for the cartilage replacement begin next year, the excitement surrounding silk extends far beyond treating knees. The potential for its use in repair of heart valves, severed nerves and spinal columns is very real. And at the heart of it all is a man on a roof with his spiders.
It has about 400 million years of evolution behind it. It's really been tried and tested.
This is basically the alternative to locking people up in institutions, is actually bringing
the services as close to them as possible. There should be very, very few people that need to go to institutions.